First of all, hi guys. It's been a hot minute since I've put out a video, but I am a little rat sometimes and I just really had to reorganize some things in my house. Hi. So me and Clover are going to walk you through what I am doing today. So I am making some pokers, some bowl pokers, and you could probably do the guesswork at the end result and in the title of this video. So basically, what I'm working with today is polymer clay. I love polymer clay. It comes in all colors. My favorite brand to use is probably Primo by Sculpey. Sculpey's a great brand. And right now, I'm adding texture to make some leaf-like, realistic texture on there. And I leave the middle completely alone because basically you're not going to see that. It's getting covered up. So I'm using my tweezers. I found that was like the easiest way to go about it. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some chalk pastels to add color. So this is like one of my favorite parts. I feel like it takes your project from like 2D to 3D, it just adds such, ow, Clover, please be nice, such a realistic color to your project, whatever you're working on. Sorry, my hair is getting pulled right now, but I'm gonna push through, and I just want to get this voiceover done. Clover, be nice, please. Oh, jeez, give me a kiss. Okay, so I'm taking a pretty small little paintbrush here, and I'm just getting that chalk pastel in all the places I want. It's kind of an experiment as you go, honestly. Like, the more you use chalk pastels, the more you know how they work. You can see that I dip into it and then dip onto like a cleaner part of the napkin, and that's because I'm getting like the excess pigment off, I suppose. And one tip to that is when you are grinding these chalk pigments, you want to, or they're chalk pastels, I'm sorry, you want to do it really fine. You want to get them into a really nice fine powder so that you don't see like the actual chunks of chalk pastel on your project. So it's a little tip for you. Sorry about the background noise. I apologize. But I just continue to do this. I mean, just a little at a time. I try to go in with the lighter color usually at first and then go in with the darker color. If you hit it just right with the brush, it gives you just a nice effect where you still have the original color showing through, but you have a lot of depth and dimension added with that little trick there with the pastels. So you could paint it, but this is just like chalk pastel and polymer clay just go together. Bacon and eggs, man. So I don't really know what else to say about this particular like what I'm doing right now. You can kind of see for yourself. So I'm just going to be quiet, maybe play some music, who knows. Rolled out some brown clay, really thin on my thinnest setting on my pasta machine, which is that big hunk of metal you could see in the corner of my table there. And now I'm just adding some texture with a toothbrush. I've had this little toothbrush for years. It was my cat's toothbrush. My cat decided he would never ever let me brush his teeth, so I decided to use it for my crafts. Any toothbrush we'll use, I like this one because it's more flat and it makes more surface contact as opposed to a convexed or concaved toothbrush. So just little patting motions and like rubbing it for any kind of texture, honestly. I feel like texture adds that. Again, it's another step that it might be a little time consuming, but your finished project, it's going to look that much better because you put all the little details into it. So now this part is always satisfying. I don't know why, but getting that really thin sheet of clay off of the table, laying it out flat, and again, the pastels. This is such a fun part for me. I really enjoy doing the pastels because it brings my craft projects to life, or my clay projects to life, like I've been saying with the pastel earlier when we were doing the green. I just enjoy it. I don't know, it's like therapeutic watching something to come to life. So I'm going to play some music for you guys and I'm going to come back. Of your project. That will make a difference. Don't forget that people will be able to, hold your project and look at it from all angles, and just getting every little piece of it. Obviously, nobody's going to be able to see the underside of that strip that we just did, but getting the sides, it really does add extra dimension, which when we're in the craft of making tiny little creations, I think that all the little details are so important, at least to me. That's what I appreciate about, honestly, my own art. Sounds weird, but I started making miniatures because they make me happy. So now I'm just cutting a little sheet because we are going to roll our first little blunt. So didn't go very smooth, but here we go. That's what it looks like up close. And I'm going back over the sides. I just went over the sides with a toothbrush really quick. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why I did that, but moving on. I applied some translucent Sculpey. You could also use the Kato liquid polyclay. Basically, it's just a bond. It's a liquid clay, so it will bond that blunt wrap to the half-baked green clay, which I don't know if I mentioned that. I dusted and created those little green barrels on the sticks, right? And I actually half-baked them. I baked them for about 5 minutes, specifically so that I could do this step without altering the green that I already did. So if you give your clay project a small little bake beforehand, sometimes that's the way to go, because especially if you're not going to change that piece in any way, a little half bake will do ya. So I was actually incredibly unhappy with this blunt because it looks like nobody overstuffs their blunts like that. Nobody in their right mind packs a blunt that tight, right? So anyways, first time, it works out sometimes it doesn't. And I'm doing the same thing on this one. This one I tried a little bit harder to make the wrap a little bit longer. For some reason I was thinking the shorter it would be, the more realistic it would look. But honestly, maybe just because I haven't rolled a blunt in a long time, like it just, the green doesn't stick out like that. So anyways, I'm using my toothbrush to kind of pull the clay at the sides a little bit, to pull it a little bit more so over the green. I took my gloves off because I specifically wanted to show you guys my thumbnail that I worked very hard on painting for 420. And that's the only reason I took my gloves off. Otherwise, I highly, highly, highly suggest wearing gloves. Otherwise, you'll get fingerprints all over everything. It will be bad. So there's a little 2 cents from me. And now I'm just finishing it up with some texture and making sure that it feels nice and tight to the green clay inside. You don't want any folds or anything. But I'm much happier with the way that this turned out. And I feel like it definitely looks a lot more like a backwoods than a swisher. Out of all the different little creations I made, I'd have to say that I liked the ones that looked more like backwoods. The more organic, like you were in a hurry to roll it and smoke it. Oh. Anyways, if you guys would like to, if you guys celebrate 420, maybe drop what you're doing for your plans down below. Isn't it on Easter this year? So I'm probably not doing much at all. But anyways, this is the reveal. And I am happy with them. I'm impressed. I think that they are not bad at all. I love the texture. I'm not gonna lie, I really do appreciate how these little guys turned out after all. And thank you guys for watching. Have a good